Hello, my beautiful friends. Thank you for joining me today. This is the last of a sort of four-part series that we've been doing on elemental magic. We've already spoken on earth, air, and fire magic, and today, last but certainly not least, we're going to talk about water magic. And you can, of course, go back and listen to the previous episodes if you are just now joining us, and welcome to the podcast, incidentally, if that's the case. But it's not necessary. These are total standalone episodes, so have no fear. You're going to be able to follow along just fine without any previous knowledge or information or context whatsoever. So, water magic. What do we think about when we hear water magic? What comes to mind? Well, the element of water is associated with the subconscious. Water carries with it connotations of death and the afterlife, but also renewal and regeneration. Other issues with strong water connotations are emotions, especially empathy. And this is frequently, I think, why empaths are drawn to water. Empaths will soak in a hot tub until the water is stone cold, just to protect themselves and, to insulate themselves from outside emotional energies, and also just to recharge their own batteries as well. Water magic is really healing. It's nurturing. It's reminiscent of the womb. When we think about white noise machines or white noise apps, there are always ocean sounds or rain sounds, river sounds, and this is, in my humble opinion, because it reminds the psyche of what we heard in the womb. If you've ever heard an ultrasound, a fetal sonogram, there's this rhythmic sound of the rushing of blood, and I think that the soul remembers that. We turn to water magic in matters of intuition and imagination and psychic knowledge. Water speaks of dreams and divination and mysticism, and water is associated with the moon and the way the tides are affected by the path of the moon, its phases. And so, to my mind, at least, water is indelibly linked to witchcraft. Because, aside from sweating over our cauldrons all day, what we really want to do is have prophetic visions and predict catastrophes and read signs in the tea leaves and all of that, mystical water magic shit. Now, we have talked about water magic in all its different iterations an awful lot. I have spent hours talking about herbal teas and how we can use them to support our intentions by, ingesting herbs that correspond with our desired outcomes. I am a huge proponent of tea for medicinal and spiritual use, and this is basic witchcraft. It's also water magic. And, if I've been working a big prosperity spell, I can give myself an advantage by drinking cinnamon and clove tea. Make yourself some rich bitch juice. And this is where having a solid foundational knowledge of herbs, or at least a really good herbalism book, comes in damn handy. If we want to combine our knowledge of water magic and herbalism, as well as the phases of the moon, we can make moon water that we use in our tea, that we steep with our mindfully selected herbs to make a really, really powerful potion. And we apply that same knowledge to create a ritual bath as well. And please do not underestimate the power and the benefits of a really good ritual bath. It's an excellent way to start or to initiate a larger ritual or spell. By washing ourselves intentionally and combining herbs specifically chosen with our intentions in mind, we can set ourselves up to be vessels to receive our manifestations. It's the perfect way to begin a big spell, washing away old, lingering energies and then pouring on water that's been steeped with herbs that align with our intentions. Makes it a lot easier for our manifestations to find us. So just, steeping a few cups of water with herbs that match our issues, and then using that water in a shower or bath is so stupid easy and just really effective. So bathe with cinnamon water before you begin your prosperity work. Bathe with rose water before your love spell. Basil water before your protection spell. Lavender water before your healing spell, and so on and so forth. Combine the power of water magic with the power of herbal magic and set yourself up for absolute success in all of the spell work that you do. I've done hours and hours of episodes on herbal magic. If you're looking for somewhere to start, it's so easy. It's so easy. And with all of that behind us, I want to get to the fun, hands-on part of this episode, where we talk about how we can use this kind of information in our lives and in our own craft. How do we put all of this information to good practical use? Well, I'm glad you asked. If we don't put all this to practical use, then all we've really accomplished is like a good old-fashioned info dump. And while that's not the worst thing in the world, I really just am such a proponent of just doing spell work, performing rituals, taking action. Now, I make a hex breaking soap that I carry in my Etsy shop, and I'm going to share that recipe here today, but I'm also going to share the hex breaking body wash recipe too, because it's a little easier to make from home. Not everyone has all of the kit that you need to make bar soap, but body wash just doesn't require a lot of gear. So we're going to go through both of those recipes here today. And I've really liked sharing the ritual oils in these episodes, these elemental magic episodes, just because it's nice to have a good ritual oil on hand whenever you need it. We can break down nearly all of the spell work that we do into one or more elemental correspondences. And so by having a ritual oil on hand that represents each of the 4 elements, just makes it simple to put it together for a spell for just about any intention. So if you missed the previous 3 episodes, you can certainly go back and either listen to them or just get the written transcripts from the website, middleagedwitch.com. And you can make these oils at home using things that you probably already have on hand. And even though this recipe today isn't a ritual oil, in the most obvious sense of the phrase, it can be used in a ritual bath or shower, and therefore is technically a ritual oil, and therefore technically counts. So, the hex breaking soap that I sell in the shop, I use a goat's milk base and shea butter, and that's just for moisture. We want to be able to protect ourselves from negativity and the evil eye and energy vampires and everything, but we also want our skin to be soft, so the shea butter is just for moisture. But to that base we add some olive oil for protection, rosemary oil for hex breaking, defense, and empowerment, lavender oil for confidence and to overcome challenges, and thyme oil for personal power and blocking negativity. And I also set every bar of soap with several tumbled obsidian stones. I press them right into the soap itself, and that's for protection and to clear obstacles. But if you're not a soap maker and you're not interested in getting a bunch of soap maker gear, never fear. Here is my recipe for hex breaking shower gel, which is just as effective. So instead of the goat's milk soap base and shea butter, we're going to start with liquid Castile soap and either vitamin E or almond oil. And you can get liquid Castile soap at Target. It's easy to find. And that's just the base for the shower gel, the Castile soap and your vitamin E oil or your almond oil. And from there, we're going to add those oils, the rosemary oil, lavender oil, and thyme oil. And I mentioned this last week, but it does bear repeating, to please make sure to use cosmetic grade or therapeutic grade essential oils, especially in this recipe, since it's specifically meant to be used on the body. If you're making an oil strictly to anoint your candles, then it won't be the end of the world to just use fragrance oils. But for the sake of your skin and your urinary tract, if you plan to use it in the bathtub, please find cosmetic grade or therapeutic grade oils. Do not say I didn't warn you, because I done warned you. And then the ratios that you're going to use to create this, kind of up to you. And don't go too crazy on the essential oils, because first of all, we don't want to make our soap too harsh for our skin. And also we don't want the scent to be too overwhelming. So just add a few drops of each of your oils at a time until you're happy with your mixture. And then just mix it all really, really well. We want everything completely blended. And then put your shower gel into a bottle and add a few tumbled obsidians. And this is how I make mine. And I've been very happy with it. And, it's not only for when you specifically feel like someone has purposely hexed you. While I do use this when I feel like I'm under any kind of psychic attack, I also just like to use this when I feel like things in general just aren't clicking for me. When things aren't just going as smoothly as I feel like they should be. When I feel like my energy is low or heavy, and I just feel like my efforts aren't really paying off like they should be, when I have like some big intentions that I'm trying to put into motion. And I just want to make sure that there's nothing in the way of my manifestations. This soap is beneficial in a multifaceted, multi-layered way. It's not only for when you feel like you've been hexed. So, take my recipe for your own personal use with my blessings and just get out from under any dark clouds that you feel might be overshadowing your efforts. And when you use this soap, do it with intention. Begin by scrubbing yourself down from the crown of your head all the way to the soles of your feet, and then allow the element of water to carry away all of the spiritual grime, all of that energetic dirt. That's what this is about. Water is so cleansing. And we can be very intentional in how we apply water magic to our desire to clear the metaphorical cobwebs off of ourselves. So please engage in all of the elemental magic. Use it well. Experiment with different methods. See how you can align your intentions with one or more elements to support your spell work. Think big. Think outside the box. Get creative. Elemental magic is such a back to basics kind of witchcraft because it works with nature. It cooperates with natural forces that are already around us and that we are a part of. And that's some witch ass shit. So, please have a lovely day and a wonderful weekend. And meet me back here next week because, next week we are talking about blood magic. It's October. We got to get a little weird, right? We got to get a little freaky. So my name is Eli Rowe. This has been The Middle-Aged Witch.